It ain't easy being a man these days. Hard to even say for sure what a man is. A provider, a lover, maybe even a hero. One thing's for sure. A journey towards being whatever a real man should be doesn't need to be done alone. The Gentlementor are here to help you navigate that, so you never have to go alone.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Gentlementor podcast. My name is Mark, and I'm here with my very good friend and partner in crime,
Dougie.
Doug. We're so glad that you've joined us today. And hey,
are.
we just started our third season.
Season
This is like our
3.
third episode already. It's the Magic 3-3.
double
So
three.
check back. We're your
Be
change
careful which
agency.
fingers I'm using.
We're your change agency. So we're here to help you change. More importantly, we're here to build a community of men. We've got people all over the globe that are part of our community that we love and adore, and we want to help.
We have
We
pictures
and not
of them
only
hanging up all over the walls in here.
not only do we want to help them, but they have been an immense amount of help to us in our
Yep.
journey as men. And so that is so important. That's the mutual benefit that
It's
we
like
get
that
for
little
being
dish
men
at
in
the
arms.
gas station with the pennies, and if you need.
Oh
them,
yeah,
make
give a
money.
penny, take a penny. Yeah, those
Love
kinds
that
of things.
concept.
Yeah,
I wish we
love
could do that with
I love
dollar
that.
bills. Which
I
what
wish
the
we could do
dollar's
with
worth
like
now, we might
yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
No, but political topical humor. Thank you.
Oh
Thank you.
no!
Good night.
Oh no! Oh no!
No. Don't.
So
leave
we're
it.
talking about change. If you missed the last two, go back and
Terrible.
check them out. We really appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us tonight. And we're just
For
a
the
couple of
third
guys.
season.
We're just a couple of guys hanging out, chit chatting, and we want to include you in the conversation. We often have some guests on the show
From time to time, and I've
Yeah.
spoken with some of them who are interested in coming on. I did
Excellent,
talk to Mozo.
excellent. We're gonna
a
bring
couple
back
weeks
some
ago,
others.
and so
Yeah.
Mozo's up for talking about change all the time. So
Have some new ones. Yeah.
yeah.
I,
Get some new people in here and talk and stuff. And
I attempted to have lunch today with a friend of mine.
how was that?
Who we had gone back quite a ways, and I knew him and his wife were there since divorce. And he was really reluctant at first to kind of open up. He hit me up on Facebook. I don't get on Facebook that much, and he hit me up just like,
Good for
"Hey,
you.
Mark." Yeah,
I
he was
applaud
like, "Hey,
that.
Mark, how's it going?" And I messaged him back. I was like, "Dude, I'd love to hear from you. I love seeing the pictures of your daughter and blah blah blah." And anyway, I said, we got to get together and have lunch or coffee or something, beers or something. We just got to get together. And he seemed pretty reluctant. He's like, dude, I'm not the same guy I was. He's like, I've been through all this stuff and I'm just not really the same guy I was. And I'm like, I don't really care. I just want to connect with you. I want to reconnect with you. And so anyway, we finally made plans to meet up today for lunch. And he doesn't have a vehicle, so I went to pick him up, take him to lunch. Just want to, and he was very nervous about the whole thing. Our text message strain was like, he's like, dude, I don't know if I want to talk. And I was like, look, dude, I don't care what you talk about. You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. I said, I have two goals for this lunch. Number one, that you're full, and that you know that I love you and I'm your friend. And that was it. And I go to pick him up. He doesn't answer my text, doesn't answer my call. I'm sitting in front of his apartment. I even go to the door, knock on the door. He doesn't come to the door. I don't know what's going on with him, but he chickened out. I hate that with an absolute passion, because he's, I do know that he was in a marriage, and she worked at the church that I worked at, and they just had a baby. They were super excited about having the baby. Then she got a job someplace else, and they moved a little bit out of town. And then we lost contact with them. And then before you know it, they're divorced. I know their daughter's like 6 or 7 years old. Beautiful, beautiful young lady. And the guy, I love the guy. He was so creative and so funny. And he still is in our text messages. He's just hilarious. And I just want to reconnect with him. And I hate that he is so apprehensive about what he's gone through, his journey since the last time we talked to now. I don't know what it is that he feels like that he has to, a standard that he has to give me. And I'm looking at myself going, did I make him think that he's got to live up to a particular standard to be my friend? you know, granted, we worked in a church. I was a pastor at a church. Maybe he felt that way. Maybe that's still part of what he's feeling, but it was very hurtful. And I'm to the point now where I'm just like, I don't know if I need to give up or if I need to just keep working on it.
Well, my friend, have you come to the right place?
All right.
Man,
Good. I'm glad.
I have
I'm
got
glad we have a place for
a
questions.
growing list of these people in my life
Mm-hmm.
who are people that, in some cases, are actual blood relatives, close friends.
Blood related. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, what happened? And so, sorry, as I'm given to pray about these things, when they trouble me, I'm given to get responses, and sometimes the responses aren't really comfortable. And for people that aren't necessarily people of faith, that'll be the part that's not really comfortable for you. And what
Endure
kind
the
of
uncomfortable.
what kind of occurred to me is maybe there's something about our presence, not because of something we're doing. Maybe there's something they're hiding, and they're afraid we will see it.
Mm.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So if we refer to last week's episode, we were talking about transparency versus vulnerability.
All right.
Is that
They are afraid of being vulnerable.
or they're
Which
afraid
is-
of being transparent?
Well, they're afraid of that.
I mean,
too,
there
and
comes
because
some
they don't
vulnerability
understand
with
the difference.
transparency.
They don't understand the difference, and it goes the other way. There's two differences. It goes both ways. And the difference is, if I'm interested in you as a human being, I'm interested in you being transparent with me, because the clearer picture you can give me of what's going on, the better I can help you.
Right.
But I'm not interested in exploiting your weakness or your vulnerability. I'm not going to use that against you. I'm not going to expose you. The Bible says that love covers a multitude of sins.
And I'm not going to chastise you for the things you've done in your past.
I'm not here to judge you or beat you up or to make you feel ashamed. I'm here for exactly what you said when we closed last week. We want to see you win. That's what I told my dead nephew before he chose to die. Was I just want you to win. I'm not trying to beat you up.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad or feel like you got to go to church.
Yep.
I just want you to win instead of getting your butt handed to you every time.
Yep. Yep. Reminds me of that scene in the first Lord of the Rings where Gandalf, grows really big and he's like, I am not trying to steal from you, Frodo.
Yeah.
I am your friend. And it takes that massive amount of strength to force him to realize, I am not against you. I am for you.
And I told my wife, we were having a deep conversation on, I think it was Saturday morning, and I was telling her, like, so many relationships in my life fit that weird format of, here I am to going to whatever this person or whoever this thing is and saying, here I am, I love you, have everything I have, here it is, it's all for you.
Yeah.
And at some point that relationship changes and they begin to feel like they are owed something, or I haven't given enough, or there's something that I've done to wrong them, or that I've come up short or something. And it's like, hey man, wait a minute.
Yeah. Come on.
Well, when I talk about like ex-employers and stuff and interviews for new jobs, I'm like, even though those employment situations may not have ended ideally, every one of them, I believe, would still sit down and tell you we got everything we ever paid him for plus. We always got what we asked, and we got it before we wanted it and better than we asked for it.
Right.
I never failed on that. We were talking about young kids and jobs and stuff. I was talking with Kelly. And the employment issues going on today because young people won't deal with discomfort. And they get a job, and if it asks anything uncomfortable of them, like, showing up, it's just too much hassle.
At that one video, the kid is like, I had to pull a double this week, and I had to work 8-hour shift total at Starbucks. I'm like, oh, man, that sucks. I am so sorry. That's exactly it. It's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
it is so easy in this day and age in our society just to and here here we go. Are you ready for this?
Go, Dad.
All right. I didn't even finish my original thought, but I'm going to skip that because this is better. Acceptance. You're familiar with the term, right? Acceptance. All right. So you don't like to work 8-hour days. You don't like to work 8-hour shifts. Not you, but this kid in the Starbucks video.
Right.
Doesn't want to work an 8-hour shift. Okay. So, we're taught in our society now, we need to be accepting of that. We need to be okay with that. And so we're like, oh, okay, you don't want to work an hour shift. Okay, well, I'll put you in for 6. You can take a short break and come back for 3. How about that? I'm gonna get 9 hours out of you, but I'll give you a 2-hour break, whatever. So we can be accepting of that. Whatever. I don't know. And whatever you can do. The problem is too much acceptance. Here's the topic is love. All right. I'm gonna that's the topic. Love. Acceptance goes so far, and then at a certain point, it's no longer love. It's something else. It's the permission to self-destruct almost. That's what it is. Love has so many sides that we are not familiar with, or we're not teaching to people. I mean, you've heard the term tough love. You've heard the term tough love. But we want to be so loving. And it's like, oh, you don't want to work an 8-hour shift.
We don't ever
I'm so
understand or try to understand what love means and what love is and how love operates. We have this weird, nebulous, vague.
Right.
And it's like, okay, first of all, that's not true.
Yeah.
Love is very definable.
It is.
And you can understand just what it is and just what it isn't. It's a matter of
I believe that love has 4 different faces. It's a 4-sided. What's 4-sided? A pyramid has 4 sides, right? Does a pyramid have 4 sides?
Yeah, it does.
If you count the bottom, is it 5?
5.
Yeah, what has 4 sides? What 3-dimensional object has 4 sides?
That doesn't exist.
Maybe that's indicative to the fact of love is not something that's really highly just tangible like that.
Like a 3-sided pyramid would have 4 sides.
A 3-sided pyramid, yeah, like those little dies, those little dies that you use for games and things. Some of them have 3, or they'll have 4 sides, so it'll be a pyramid shape. You got 3. Actually, you've got 4 triangles together, which triangle is indicative to the strongest structure. Shape. Triangle is the strongest shape.
Sure.
It also has 3 sides and 3 points, which also is probably a lot. The Illuminati are probably calling us right now and going, "Hey, leave the triangle alone."
We're about to get shadow banned.
But that's the thing. We don't take into account those other sides of love that require. We look at, and again, I'm going to get on somebody's bad side probably. Capital punishment is one of those things that we're very, torn about in this country. And we don't want to make capital punishment. We will let evil continue so far because of acceptance that it's no longer love. We now become an accomplice to that evil because we won't deal with it, because we won't shut it down. We won't won't put a lock on the knife drawer so that our children, our infants that are roaming around in the kitchen won't get into the knife drawer because, we don't want to hinder his development. We want him to be safe around knives. Yeah. But yes, of course we do. But there's a time for that. When he's 4 years old, he doesn't know how to be safe with a knife or a gun. Be protective of that. Part of that protection is love. No, you cannot have this because you could hurt yourself, and I don't want you to hurt yourself. Anyway. Comes down to love. I don't know if that where I was going with that, but that's what I was thinking.
That was beautiful.
We go so far in acceptance that it's no longer love anymore. It's the license to self-destruct.
It's a license to self-destruct. But what it really is this. Can I just draw the spotlight down and say what?
I'm all ears inside these headphones. Go.
We kind of already talked about this, and it's really just another comfort game because it's uncomfortable for us to confront those things.
Right.
It's uncomfortable to deal with things like that. It's uncomfortable to just disagree with anyone. We live in backwards, upside down world, and just the act of disagreeing with someone is like fraught with kinds of peril it never was before.
Right. Or not just that, Doug, but it's also the potential discomfort you get from other people finding out how you dealt with something.
That's exactly it.
I did not
shame and all
yes,
that stuff.
I
and
did
that
not
culture stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. I did not spare the rod with my children. They received spankings. Fortunately, thank God, I don't have to spank any of them anymore. We're beyond that.
Big.
But yes, in fact, I'm probably due for a spanking from a 14-year-old. But anyway, we talked about that earlier. That's exactly what it is. We're afraid of people knowing. That's the discomfort as well. Well, I
And
can't do that because if
that's
so and so finds out, then I'm gonna, I can't let them know that I spank my children.
like
That's
another
wrong.
stream in the same tide is this backwards view that social media and the media in general has given us of our
Yeah,
culture,
yeah,
where we think that the majority of people believe the opposite of what we do, and the truth is that most people you will agree with. If you go meet your neighbors, if you go meet somebody down the street, if you call up a guy named Mozo in Brooklyn, if you call up somebody over in England, you sit down and talk to them and you find out you don't disagree about that much.
mm-mm,
The things you
mm-mm.
disagree about are minor, but that's all part of that community building thing that we love to do so much.
It's the thing about I worked for a pastor one time who said I don't really want people to know what we're against. I really want them to know what we're for.
Yeah, it's not important. The world's
It's
full of
not important.
against.
It is, and too often we lead with against, and we
Mm,
shouldn't. We need to lead with
true,
for. I
true.
am for you. I am for people. I am for humanity. I am for men, especially. I want to make sure that they have the tools they need to grow and succeed. Yeah,
That,
it's just a
that's what
shame.
that's what puts us here doing what we're doing. We care
Yeah,
about people enough to go, hey, you know what?
and
You can change something in your life, and we're not just going to sit here and like there's 1,000 places you can go on the internet for like an easy plan to do this and
mm-hmm,
5 steps, and you can go on chat
yep,
MPG TBC PPQ AI,
do that
whatever
too.
that
Yeah,
is. That'll give you answers, as we already found out. Like there's no end to answers. Here's what we are offering that's different. We are going to walk through it with you.
yes,
This isn't something that we are telling you to do that we have not experienced.
right.
It is something that we have done. It is something that I'm speaking for myself. I have made changes. I am making changes. I intend to make more changes. This is a process that I have embraced. This will not stop. It won't be, I'm going to change and change and change, and then at some point, I'm going to be perfect or ideal. I'm just, because what I've learned about this journey, like I said, is you don't realize the things that are actually changing about you. You don't always see the things that actually
That's
need
true.
to change about you because
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
I could start on one thing thinking this is what I need to change and find out, well, that's not really the problem. The problem is that thing just one level down. That's your problem. Well, after a year working on that, that's not really the problem's one level down from there.
yeah,
Until you finally find that thing that's like, oh, here's where all the icky starts. Here's where all my bad patterns start because that's
ooh,
what this is about. You start with assessment, and assessment should lead you to recognize that you've made some patterns in life. I have made some patterns in life. We were talking just minutes ago, it seems like. It seems as if it was only moments ago we were chatting and talking about reflecting on our lives and looking at our lives and watching the game tape. You know, it
hmm,
starts, that's the first step is looking at the game tape so far, kind of reviewing where you're at this point.
yeah,
Where do you want to go forward? And you don't need to get hung up on changing the world. I was watching a great thing the other day with old Jordan Peterson and
yeah,
what's her name? I can't think of her name. Temple Grandin. And she made a great point that a lot of the reason that people feel, and especially young people, feel helpless today is because the type of idealism that they are experiencing is this grandiose, mega idealism where you got to change the world.
yeah.
And it's like, you don't need to change the world. You need
No,
to find something in your world you can change.
yeah,
This is even, we're going to bring it down a level below that. Inside you, the inside world, that's where you need to change. You got no control until you got self-control. You can't change anything until you learn to have the capacity to
put that on a
change what's
t-shirt.
in here.
Oh, that's good.
And you can change, but it's not by changing the biggest thing first.
No,
I
it's not.
look in my mirror and go, I'm overweight. I need to lose weight is not a problem I can take on. I have failed at it many, many, many times in my life. But when I got down to what the real problem was and got down to those little issues underlying, I found out that those sometimes are little bite-sized things. And that's where change comes from. You don't start at the top level thing. When you play a video game, you don't start with the boss. You start fighting peons and jumping over shells. What do you kids do these days? I don't know your video games these days. Yeah, we had shells. We jumped over shells a lot. There were a lot of shells involved.
Over shells.
Mushrooms and
Shells,
shells.
shells,
Mushrooms,
shells, and mushrooms.
shells
Yeah,
and
we
cheese
jumped
and
over them.
mushrooms.
Yeah, and then you can pick
And
them up occasionally and throw them
yeah,
back.
yeah, but you play that and you go to the highest level. You work your way up. You build momentum And that's what you're doing in life change. That's where I started. The first thing I figured out I could do because of the stress levels at my house and the anxiety. Listen up, anxiety people. I'm going to teach you something from somebody who suffers from it. The anxiety and the tension and the stress in my house. And I realized one day, you know what? This is all caused by one thing. And the one thing is nobody gets up on time. Nobody will get out of bed. Yeah, the alarms go off and alarms go off and nobody will get up. And if somebody would just get up, it's like, wait a minute.
That seems so easy, Doug.
I can do that. I can get up.
Yeah.
I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. I didn't have a job that required me to be somewhere at that time. You know, I could be there whenever I wanted to be there. There was no pressure on me to do anything. All I had to do was get up and get everybody else moving. That's the day I took the lead and I didn't even realize it.
Wow.
That was the first change, and it's so small and it seems so insignificant now.
So small.
But without that change, without that realization, and it was like a week into it, I'm like, I got this. All I got to do is get up, make the coffee, and kick her out of bed. No problem. I sit there with her until she gets ready to go to work. Cool.
Go
to work. In a couple weeks, it's like, well, that's easy. What else could I do?
That's
start adding the thing on and adding the thing on. This is like anybody's listening to Jordan Peterson. This is the stuff he talks about. That's why the first time I ever saw him when he started talking about this, I was like, yeah, that. Because I was already starting. But that's what it is. And each of those little victories gives you momentum to move forward. It encourages you about yourself. It tells you a new truth. Because you've been telling you a bad truth for a long time. And it starts telling you a new truth. You can do this. Ooh. You did that. And you wake up tomorrow and do it again. And here's another one of those golden nugget of truth from Uncle Dougie. Going to bring you a truth of life that I've stumbled on recently.
As long as I don't have to sit on your lap.
I'm not, please. I'm not going to make you wait until episode 16 behind the paywall to find out what the secret of life change is. I'm going to tell you right now.
We got a paywall?
Here's, in the event that one should arrive.
So we should call it a sacrifice wall. That's what we should call it.
Wall of sacrifice.
The wall of sacrifice.
Pin your sacrifice to the wall.
All right, what's the nugget
of life change is whatever you were doing yesterday, you don't do that. You do something else instead, and you keep doing that. That's the secret of life change. You don't stop doing that new thing. Whatever that thing you changed is, as long as you keep doing it.
Right.
It's real change. That change is real. So don't doubt it, because that's what we do with change. Yeah. We see change for a day or a week or a month, and we start to doubt it. No, every day you wake up and do it again, you believe it. Mark it down. Be intentional. Mark it down on your calendar. Celebrate your success.
Because then you create a habit.
Learning to love yourself.
Listen,
it's the greatest
James Clear talks about in his book, Atomic Habits, he talks about every decision that you make is a vote to be the person you're deciding to be, one way or the other. So when you choose to get up early, you're voting for that person to be the early riser, the new Doug who's rising up. If you don't, then you're voting for Doug to be the not get up early, and the lazy and the stress-ridden, anxiety-riddled person because chaos is in the house and he can't get things together. So many votes will put that person into office. I hate to be political about this, but it's true. So many votes for the right Doug will put the right Doug that you want to be in there, the right self.
Yes,
interpolate for whoever you are. If your name's not Doug, please do that. And that's so good. I feel like right now this would be a great opportunity for us as the Gentlementor to ask our listeners and our viewers to, hey, take a moment. What is one small change that you can make in your life? Here's an assignment. Are you ready? This ought to make you uncomfortable. When's the last time you had an assignment?
Ooh, assignments, homework. Get your paper.
What is one thing that you could do? Really simple. Simple as getting up when the dadgum alarm goes off and hitting snooze 9 times in a row. Listen, every time you hit snooze, you're delaying your destiny by 9 minutes. I read that from somebody else. I don't know. It wasn't mine. But it's true. Get up when the dadgum alarm goes off. Get up.
Quit
What is
deferring.
one little
Embrace
quit
it.
deferring.
Embrace that
Yes,
sacrifice.
embrace it. You're gonna have
9
to
more
get up.
minutes for me. Get that in your head. It's for you. You're sacrificing for you because you love you, and love requires sacrifice.
Listen,
Everybody wants to be rescued. Nobody's coming to rescue you but
I have
you.
never heard a story from anyone who said those 9 minutes saved my life. They changed my life forever. They changed they'll change your life forever, but not in the good way. But no story has ever started with those 9 minutes that I had extra to sleep or to try and sleep, because really, the alarm goes off. You can't sleep for more than 6 of them anyway. Let's be realistic, right? You're not gonna.
Best.
At best.
You want, everybody wants some daily affirmations. Here's what you want to do. Get yourself in this investment mindset. So each of these things that you're doing, these little disciplines or discomforts, whatever you want to call them, that you present yourself with, that's an investment in you. And mark that down. That's an affirmation. That's $1 in the Doug Bank or the Mark Bank, or filling your name here, and you are storing up treasure. You're stacking,
and if you have to,
stacking cash.
If you have to, write those affirmations out. I used to have a written affirmation list that I would read every day. I would drop my son off at school, and then I would, and in the car, I would drive to the neighborhood to get to my office, and I was able to read those affirmations, and I would read those affirmations daily to myself. Today, I do them a little bit differently because I'm a technology fiend. I have an Alexa right here, and I'll say, Alexa, please start my day. And she starts my day, and she does all these things. She goes through, and I've programmed all this in there. And it's really easy to do. If you've got an Alexa, it's super easy to do. She'll ask me questions like, well, who do you want to pray for today? What are you grateful for today? Here's the weather. Here's what's on your calendar. And then she reads off a list of affirmations to me. She's like, Mark, you are the warrior. You act upon ideas. You do not procrastinate. She's reading this to me. And these are things that I would read to myself. Mark, you are a lover of people. You create leaders. You don't lead people. That's not what you do. It's what you are, is helping other people lead lives better. So she's reading those affirmations to me. That's a great, just write them out. Put them in your notes thing on your phone. Whatever they are, what are some good things that you want to be? I think this is a great assignment. I love to hear what somebody comes up with. I think it'd be great. Read those assignments. Have Siri read them to you. Have Alexa read them to you. Whatever. You need to hear those. And here's the thing. You don't just need to read them. You need to read them what? Out loud. Your voice in your own ear changes things. That's just.
I got to work on this. See, this is a
that's just a thing.
My daily affirmation is like, old Doug goes, I don't want to do this, and then I go, yeah, but you're out here doing it, aren't you?
See, and if
like,
you
affirmed,
I like that. That's kind of a bully affirmation technique.
That's it's.
I mean,
my
that ought to be the next episode. How do we let our new me bully the old me?
Yeah,
There's appropriate bullying. That's really great.
It's a huge part of the game. It's a huge part of the game.
That's so funny. Wow, that's really cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's to you, men. Thanks for being with us. Go change something. Just make it small. Like Doug said, you don't have to change the world. It doesn't. Yeah, change the light bulb.
Yeah, don't start
change
with the
something
top tier
small.
Stuff. Something tiny. Yeah. Something you know you can win at. Make it that easy so you know you can win.
And then, the second thing you need to do is hop on to either Instagram, YouTube, or BitChute and let us know, or TikTok, and let us know what those things are that you changed.
Affirm us.
Yes, affirm us to let us know you made some changes.
So we know that you
and listen, we're here for you. If you've got questions, shoot them that way. Shoot them in our social media feed so that we can answer your questions. We love talking with you guys.
You bet.
And we love you guys. It's great. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll talk to you again soon. Cheers.
Take care.